Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the CW and the Arrowverse. We have an update in regards to DCEU, the new show coming supposedly to the CW by David Ramsey from Arrow, and also we have an article that we're going to be breaking down to do with the CW's future, because literally after yesterday, The Hollywood Reporter released an article on a similar topic to what I talked about in yesterday's video. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so we've got two sources that we're going to be talking about in this video. One is to do with DCEU, that is coming from tvline.com. The link is going to be in the description below to that. Also, we got a Hollywood Reporter article that is more in regards to the CW's future under Nexstar. So this is obviously a similar topic to yesterday, but this new article came out and there is some new details about some insider sources and what they think is going on. But for now, I just want to remind you guys, you can become a member of the channel by clicking the join button. By becoming a super friend, that is what our tiers are called, you are supporting the channel, but also get some very awesome exclusive perks, including coming on a members live stream with me, or joining our members Zoom call. That is available for any tier, so if you sign up today and become a super friend, you'll be instantly able to join in all of our members activities. But let's go ahead and start today's video. So let's talk about TV Line's article first. So like I said, link is in the description below. This is all coming from TV Line. So they had a question from a viewer, and they do this quite often. They have viewer questions and they basically give scoops on the latest news to do with certain shows. They actually talked about The Flash in this article, but I'm going to make that in a separate video because that's quite a big deal in regards to potentially a season 9 villain. However, let's talk about the DCEU question. So it goes like this. Greg asks, any new updates on DCEU given all the changes going on at the CW and Warner Bros. Discovery? TV Line answers, David Ramsey told us just this past Saturday night at a gala honouring Greg Berlanti's mum and benefiting F Cancer, which is a charity, that we're on the second draft of the script. This is David Ramsey talking, and we just closed the deal on a writer. I'm not sure I can say her name, so I won't, but they're very close to submitting our second draft. It's still in development and we're moving forward. So there you go, we have an official update on DCEU. I know that not everyone is just as hyped for DCEU as we were when it was first announced, because David Ramsey has been talking a lot recently about how potentially it wouldn't be set in the Arrowverse, it will be set on Superman Lois's Earth in the Superverse, and so obviously that turned off a lot of people just because we're also connected to the Arrowverse. And I mean, David Ramsey is, but he likes the idea that we're starting on a blank slate, so it's very much so expected that he's going to be setting DCEU on Superman Lois's Earth, and that's just going to be the Superman Lois version of John Diggle that we've seen in the previous seasons of Superman Lois. So yeah, it's interesting that David Ramsey told them that they're actually working on a second draft right now, so that means that the first was done a while ago, and then they needed to do a second draft, so they hired a writer to look at that first script, to rewrite it and to make it better, and then they're going to submit it to the CW, aka to the people who are now in charge of the CW, so Nexstar and anyone that gets a say in if a pilot goes ahead or if a season goes ahead. And so if they actually like it, they'll be approved for a pilot, they will shoot the pilot. If the pilot is good, they could get a full season order similar to Superman Lois. You guys remember when they started filming at the start of season 1. And so there is always the chance, and we've seen this a lot recently with pilots being shot but actually not being picked up, that they could totally shoot that pilot but they don't go ahead with the show if Nexstar and the CW aren't happy with what they're getting. Now you have to remember, with Nexstar taking over, I believe it's going to be a lot more tougher to get these original shows made on the CW, because they have made it explicit that they want cheaper programming, they don't want so many shows, and they only want a certain amount of original programming to come through from the people at Warner Bros. TV and CBS Studios who make the individual shows. So right now, this is kind of exciting news, but I would take it with a grain of salt as to if it's actually going to be happening, because right now they're just on the second draft of the screenplay, and they've hired a writer. Even though he says he's not going to reveal her name, it's obviously someone that we know, or that's like somewhat popular, because I don't think it would matter if you said, oh, Joe Schmo, or like Alan Smith was writing this, or anyone else. So yeah, that's a clue right there, but we don't really need to look too much into that, because I'm sure that's going to be announced in not a very long time. But yeah, David Ramsey's confirmed it's still in development and they are still moving forward despite what's been happening over at the CW. And I have to mention that I believe a lot of the people who do business with the CW actually haven't been properly informed about, you know, the way that Nexstar is going to be changing the network. Is it going to be continuing with certain things? So right now I think they're in a bit of like a in-between stage where Nexstar is pretty set on what they're doing, but I don't believe they've actually informed everyone of their exact plans. Anyway, for now, let's continue on to the next article. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter. The title of the article is "The CW's Future Under Nexstar. Focus on affiliates, profits, and cheaper originals." And the subheading is, "Many top executives who do business with the CW are still searching for answers, but early signs are that Nexstar is aiming to be a more affiliate-friendly and scheduled programming that targets a broad audience of adults aged 18 to 49. So they are shifting their demographic, because like I said in yesterday's video, Nexstar has looked at the stats and they have realized, oh, like in the day when we show repeat programming and just shows that have been on it in the past, that's when we get a lot of viewers from a different age range. Well, like I said yesterday, that is because people just turn on the TV and just have it on in the background. That's why they get ratings. And as you guys know, the CW in recent years hasn't been focusing on actually looking at their ratings, their live ratings, because they've been releasing stuff on HBO Max, they've been releasing stuff on the CW app, which is very important because that's where a lot of the younger viewers go. So with Nexstar being a local TV kind of giant in the industry, they are much more aligned to the traditional thinking of TV networks where you need to have good live ratings rather than releasing stuff online on an app or something like that. It seems they don't really care about that. So let's continue with this article. So it goes like this. The CW opened its 2022 to 2023 broadcast season Monday with its new owner Nexstar, delivering a loud message to the creative community on Wall Street. Expect change and expect it fast. The station network that took over the younger skewing broadcast network on October 1st parted ways with the CW's three top executives: CEO Mark Pedowitz, streaming and marketing boss Rick Haskins, and finance chief Mitch Nedek. So we talked about this just yesterday in terms of the news of Mark Pedowitz leaving. He has been one of the key factors in the CW and what it is today. He's been a big advocate for the Arrowverse and everything surrounding, you know, genre shows and shows like the CW does. But also he's joined by a couple of his top executives who are going to be leaving. Potentially they'll be going to other networks, or they'll be joining Mark with his production company that he is supposedly restarting. And so the changes arrive as Nexstar CEO Perry Sook and newly installed CW president Dennis Miller plan to make the network profitable by 2025 with programming that targets a broad audience of adults 18 to 49. So Nexstar plans to focus on the CW's linear schedule and become more affiliate friendly. But what's very important and lucky for us is that Sook and Miller are said to be fans of such broad CW fare as Jared Padalecki's Walker franchise, Greg Berlanti's Superman Lois, and the family-focused Kung Fu. All three shows were among the few series to earn early renewals in March ahead of the CW's May cancellation spree that left it with only 11 scripted originals, the same tally Mark Pedowitz inherited when he took over the network in 2011. So basically what went on then is they had to scrap a load of the shows because of this new ownership coming into actual fruition. They were going to cancel it, and so that's the reason why they did it. But it's good to hear that the new people in charge are at least a fan of Superman and Lois. Again, we don't know what the future holds for the Arrowverse. It's very worrying with this new ownership trying to change the network into a more affiliate friendly, kind of family friendly network that also, delves into content that is going to be playing all day long, and they're just going to buy stuff from other networks in order to try and be profitable, which was never the CW's intention, because it was created as a way to sell content to places like Netflix originally. That's just what it was. And so, yeah, I guess the big news here is that they are fans of Superman and Lois. I believe later in the article, and we're not going to go over the whole article, they actually mentioned that they are aiming to keep 12 scripted originals, so that opens up the path for one more scripted original, which definitely could be Justice U if that's something they want to actually go ahead with, because as of right now they have 11 scripted originals. However, I must mention that Gotham Knights is a show that is going to be coming soon, so that will make up the 12. So there is always a chance that maybe in a season's time they get rid of one other show, because they want to keep it to a succinct 12 shows on the network, so they don't have to make 15, 20, and that puts up the cost by a hell of a lot in terms of the way that they kind of want to operate the CW. And so Justice U still has a chance, even with Gotham Knights coming and taking up that 12th slot. I would say Justice U probably isn't going to be coming for at least like a year and a half, if not 2 years, because they gotta produce it, they gotta come up with the screenplay, and then start writing the other screenplays and actually start filming. Pilots take a while, so there is a lot of things that need to happen before Justice U can actually be a thing. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, and you're excited for Justice U, and you're maybe not so excited for the next Star Takeover, please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for my channel, because we're going to give you all of the updates as everything happens in real time. So for now, leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed this specific video. Really helps out the channel, and you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.